I hope you're doing well. Today, I want to talk about confidence because in life, there are a lot of times where we don't feel so confident, but then we still have to go ahead and do the thing anyway. And in my life, I realized I don't even know if I'm a confident person, but I do know that I need to develop the courage and the bravery to do things even when it scares me. I have 4 tips that I would like to share with you that's actually helped me take that plunge or do something despite not feeling that confident about it, and how I gain confidence from doing it. The first story I want to share with you is when I was in college. I emceed my program's talent night. I volunteered to do it, and I've not had any experience. I just thought it looked fun, so I wanted to try it. And I went on stage and I hosted the entire night, and I made so many mistakes. I was cringing at myself. So at the end of the night, all my lecturers, they were really nice. They came up to me and they said, "Oh, good job, Xandria. Way to go." And I was so shy to even acknowledge their compliment because I felt embarrassed. I felt like they were just being nice, right? Because I made so many mistakes. So when my program director came up to me, and he's someone I hugely admire, and I feel like I can be honest with him, right? So when he came up to me, he goes, "Good job, Xandria, well done." I was like, "Mr. Boucher, I made so many mistakes. I forgot to say this. I'm sorry." He was like, What mistakes? I didn't even notice your mistakes." And I thought, you're being nice. You don't have to be nice to me. And he goes, "Xandria, I'm sure you made mistakes along the way, but it doesn't matter that you dropped the ball. It is how you pick it up that matters. And you picked it up so well that I didn't notice the mistakes that you made." And that for me was such a revelation because I was like, oh, so making mistakes on stage in front of everybody, maybe it's not so bad. It doesn't really matter if you make the mistakes. It's what you do after the mistakes that counts. That was my first lesson in learning about mistakes. And I learned this lesson again in my career when I was actually professionally emceeing for this brand. They had this massive party in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur. It was a huge launch. The press was there. There were a few hundred guests, very important people. Even the founder of the brand himself flew in from Germany to attend this event. So I obviously wanted to do a good job. I memorized my script. I didn't want to go out, with my script in my hand and reading from it. I wanted to be, really engaging with the crowd. So I put in a lot of effort to prep for this event because it was important. Now, this event was held on a rooftop of a hotel. And the stage was actually erected over a swimming pool. So when I went on stage and I was talking and welcoming the guests, feeling quite confident, what happened was that when I walked down the stairs, I tripped and fell. And I almost fell into the water because the stage was over the swimming pool. I could hear the whole crowd go, collectively. All I remember was I got up and I said into the microphone, "And that's why I'm not a model." And I continued talking. The event carried on. And this advice, it doesn't matter that you drop the ball, it is how you pick it up that matters, really applied in this instance, because even though I made such a huge mistake and nearly fell into the swimming pool, the clients didn't actually see it as a bad thing. And I know this because they hired me again and again and again for all their events because of this mistake. So instead of it being a bad thing, I got to show, I guess, the client that I can pick up the ball pretty well. And I think that's something that they appreciated. And so then I learned that you don't even have to be perfect. You don't have to be flawless, because sometimes making the mistake gives you an opportunity to show people, like how you can pick up the ball. If I didn't make the mistake in the first place, maybe I wouldn't have been as memorable. Another lesson I learned when it came to confidence was when I was studying in university. And the editor of this major English newspaper in Malaysia actually asked me if I wanted to contribute to the column called The Tale of Two Cities. I was studying in Melbourne, and she wanted me to write about the observations I had or any kind of thoughts I had about Melbourne and Kuala Lumpur, and just contribute to this column every 2 weeks. I was 19 at the time, and I remember calling my mom up and saying, I don't know if I can do this. I'm not a journalist. I'm not a writer. I mean, the only reason I knew the editor was because I joined a young journalist program when I was 16 with the newspaper. And I didn't join the program because I wanted to be a writer. I joined it because it looked so fun. Like, I saw pictures of kids going camping and going trekking, and I thought, oh my God, this program looks great. So let's join this journalist program. It wasn't like I thought I was a good writer. I didn't have ambitions of being a journalist. When this opportunity came and the editor asked me to contribute to this column, like in the newspaper where thousands of people read it, I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm good enough. You know, I mean, I grew up in my mom's bookshop. I'm an avid reader. You know, I have authors whom I admire, and I don't think I can write like them, honestly. I don't think that I'm a good writer, maybe not good enough to write for a column. Who would want to read it? And I remember my mom saying to me, you know, Xandria, you don't need to think about what other people would write or how you should be writing. You can just write from your heart. And that advice really helped me, because if I say no because of my insecurities or because I didn't feel confident enough, then I'll always wonder, what if I had done it? You know, I would rather take the plunge and maybe look bad and maybe have people laugh at me, you know, than to have to live with the thought of like, what if? Just to get the question answered. I said, yes, I'm gonna do the column and I'm just gonna write from the heart. And what I've learned there is that I didn't have to benchmark myself against people I admire. You know, my mom's advice of just write from your heart really hits home for me, because it helps me not compare myself against people I admire, against writers I admire, against authors I admire. And I think it happens a lot in our daily lives. You know, we have a plan, we have a dream, and we want to execute it. But then because we have all these role models whom we admire, and we have all these people who inspire us, and we feel like we're not as good as them yet, right? We're not at that level. So why would anybody want to pay attention to our idea or to our work? We're not that great. We know we're not. So why do it, right? Like, people are not going to like it. And so for me to be able to be in the mindset of, hey, it's okay to have people that I admire, and it's okay to have role models, but I don't have to benchmark myself against them. You know, Xandria, you just write from your heart and not worry about whether it's good enough, right? And this leads on to my tip number 3, because when I started hosting, I finished studying, graduated from Melbourne, and I started hosting for a TV station. And again, I had no experience. I studied finance and management. I didn't do journalism or entertainment, and so I feel like I'm really a fish out of water. I didn't feel confident that I was any good. And what really helped me was to take the spotlight off myself. If I'm worried about what people will think, whether people will like it, and I'm just worried about how I will come across, then I'm just worried about me. And what I've learned in hosting is that it's not about me at all. It is about you. It is about, like, this video that I'm making. You know, of course, like, I put effort into looking a certain way because I like fashion and makeup and I want to look good. But at the end of the day, it is not about me. It doesn't matter if you like me or not. I think what really matters is that the message I'm delivering has value. If I'm really focused on how popular I want to be or I want people to like me, then it'll be really hard for me to have confidence to actually host or to actually write, because I'm not like the best host, I'm not like the best writer. Even making this video, I mean, there's so many videos out there that you can be watching. So if I go down the path of trying to get you to like me or trying to come across a certain way, then I feel like I would be too self-conscious to actually make this video. So what helps me is to take the spotlight off myself by remembering that it is not about me at all. You know, I am like, in a way, a vessel to deliver information. It is about the value that I can give as opposed to me being the center of the attention. And so this has really helped me not be self-conscious, and it has also helped me in dealing with negative comments or criticisms, because everything that you put out there, whether it's a business idea or whether you're posting a photograph of yourself, you know, on social media, whatever it is, it feels very personal. And it's hard to not take things or criticisms or comments personally when it feels so personal. You could be giving a presentation at work and you know that it's just about work and it's, you know, nothing personal, but still, whenever somebody makes a negative comment or say something about your performance, you know, it can sting a little bit. It can feel very personal. So if you're watching this and you have to give presentations at work, remember that it is not about you. I'm not here to prove how awesome I am. It's not about me. Take the spotlight off of yourself, and then it's so much easier to deal with judgments or criticisms or negative comments, because you really understand that it doesn't matter what people think about you. What matters is the quality of your work and the value that you're providing to people. The other thing that I guess underlies every single thing that I do, which is like a philosophy that I have, is life is not about success or failures. I think that in society it's really hard because we're always trying to prove ourselves in some way or another. If not to other people, then to ourselves. You know, we are the harshest critics of ourselves. So when I try something and I think like, oh my God, you know, I failed, then I would feel really bad about myself. And I don't want to do that. Like, hey, you know, Xandria, how could you have failed? You're so stupid. You know, I don't have this dialogue in my head with myself. For me, I look at life and everything that I do as an experiment. Because with an experiment, you can't succeed or fail. Experiment only yields results. And so when I do something, I look at the results, right? If it's an undesirable result, then I know that, oh, next time I won't do this again, or I'll change it a little bit. I don't look at it as like, oh, I failed. And if it's a desirable result, I'm like, hey, this is working, it's desirable. Let's repeat that again and let's continue down this direction. And so in this way, I take a lot of pressure off myself of needing to be confident and perfect and sure before I even attempt to do something. Because if I put so much pressure on myself and I judge myself, then I think that I'll be really scared to do a lot of things. Because honest to God, like a lot of the things that I do, I'm not actually confident that it will work. And I think that having this philosophy of not judging myself and being able to just appreciate the journey of the experience and looking at that as the reward, for me, it really works and it helps me do something even when it scares me. What's the worst thing that can happen? Oh, I've learned something. So in that sense, even when I'm not confident, I feel reassured that it's okay, even if it doesn't work out. At least I learned something. And so then everything becomes an opportunity. So then I don't get so scared even when something scares me, if that makes sense. And the other thing that I think completely makes sense is that the more not confident I feel about something, the more I should do it, right? Because how do we build confidence? We build confidence by practicing. We build confidence by doing something again and again and again. We build our skills. And so I'm thinking to myself, you know, Xandria, if you're not feeling confident about something, isn't that a sign that you should do more of that thing so you can gain confidence? And so these are the thoughts that go around my head and what I ruminate and reflect over whenever I'm making a decision. So the 4 things that really help give me the courage and the bravery to do something despite not feeling confident is number 1, it doesn't matter if I drop the ball. What matters is how I pick up the ball. Oh, that makes me feel better about like potential mistakes I may be making. And secondly, I don't have to benchmark myself against people I admire. I don't need to be perfect in order to just go do something. And the third thing is me always reminding myself that, hey, Xandria, it's not about me. I take the spotlight off of myself. And the last thing, the 4th thing is life is an experiment. And with an experiment, there is no success or failures. And so I remove that fear of failure, and that enables me to just go do something, even if it scares me, even if I'm not confident. And so I hope that these 4 tips can really help you as well, the way it helps me go do something despite not feeling confident. So if you have any feedback or comments about this video or just generally about what you want to hear more of, you can leave them in the comments. And in the meantime, have a fantastic week ahead, and I look forward to making more videos for you. Be happy always. Bye!